All right, we've worked hard. We've worked hard, and from this point, we've got our bait out there. We've done some private conversations, and we've started to get this to go in. What's the ratio of tire kickers to folks that you schedule a call with is a question I'll answer in just a second because it's a perfect segue. Now we're going to talk about the perfect strategy session template. So from here, we've talked to people in Messenger. Every industry is different. Typically, when I have somebody contact me via a private message, they're at least ready to talk about how to move forward. Think about it. They wouldn't contact me if they weren't thinking about putting what I talked about into action, or they wanted to know more about what I posted about. So they're already raising their hand and saying, I want more. So a high percentage of the folks that come into Messenger typically contact me eventually. I would say probably 30–40% it's right away. The rest of them, it takes a little longer, but they contact me eventually. You got to think, if you're just being friendly and cool to them, getting on the phone with them by the time that conversation is not hard. So it's a high percentage versus most things that you would do because you had a one-on-one in Facebook with them. Does that make sense? So now that we've done that, let's talk about once you get them onto the call, how do you rock this out? How do you rock this out? So Messenger session psychologically should have ended with them triggering a strategy session by expressing they would be interested in working with you. So you got to understand this. This is so important. This is so important. Do you think there's any way they get on this call with you because of the way we set it up that they're not ready to spend some money, or at least consider spending some money? No, absolutely not. By the time you get them here, the concept of them working with you is out there. They just want to know if they can afford you. They want to know more about your process. Okay? So here's what I do. Before I get on the call, if I have time, if it's not just an immediate call, I dig deep into their website and Facebook pages. I want to know more about them. I don't walk into strategy sessions unprepared, if at all possible. Now, you can survive without being overly prepared, but here's the key. From there, I ask these 4 questions. You've seen these questions before, but the key to using these questions is all the work that you put in beforehand. Does everybody understand this? You can't just con someone into getting on a call with you and ask these questions. You have to have set them up with everything that we've done so far, because if you set them up with all the things that we've done so far, they're now ready to be open with you about these questions. Does this make sense? If you fire into these questions and you've not adequately warmed up someone, they don't feel comfortable enough to give you these answers and be honest. Okay? So here's how this works. Hey, what's going on? It's Ben. It was good talking to you on Messenger. And I just have a couple questions because I want to understand your business better, because if you're wanting to do some of the stuff that we were talking about in Messenger, I want to understand your business. Can I ask you a few questions? I got like 4. That's the intro. Super chill. That's how I open it up. Remember, they asked for a call. I'm not calling them cold. They asked for a call. So question 1. So imagine we're talking 1 year from now. What has to have happened in your business for you to be happy with how your business and life has progressed? Now, we sort of already asked this in the strategy session to open up. This gets very pointed, though. The reason that this is such an important question is because it is going to get them to start to visualize what they want to happen and to be very honest with you about what they want to happen. This is the one that they're going to talk the most on, okay? And they're going to be okay with talking the most on this because you've already talked in Messenger. So they're going to answer this question. They're going to talk about what has to have happened. They're going to talk about what their life looks like, what their goals are. And here's the next thing, question 2. I say, okay, well, cool. That sounds awesome. I think that that's a good and reasonable goal, if their goal is good and reasonable. And then I say, what are the secret weapons that you have that you think will help you get to that goal 12 months from now? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Psychologically, what am I doing here? Couple key things. Number 1, I'm not creating doubt. I'm probing them on what they've got going for them. What they've got going for them. That's it. I just want to know, what are the things that they've got going for them in their office or in their business that they think are their secret weapons. Now, I say that because when it comes to, stuff that I want to do with them or stuff that they think they can do, I want to know what are the things we can leverage. But more importantly, what did I tell you a little bit ago that was the most important thing that I can teach you? Is the most important thing that I can teach you. Secret weapons, when they tell me this is the trigger that I'm looking for. I want them to tell me that they're going to get to where they want to go, whether they have my help or not, because they've got these secret weapons. Because I want them to tell me they're getting there, because I understand all I can do is help get them there faster. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody? So all I'm looking for is, what do they think are their secret weapons in their office that nobody else has, that are going to help them get to their goal 12 months from now? The next thing is, this is where we start to really dig into why they're not going to get there, or what are the dangers of helping them get there. What are the possible roadblocks? What are the things that could come up that could keep you from getting there? Does this make sense? I want to know what they think is in their way. You know what I get most of the time with this? It's, I'm so busy being this that I can't go do this. I'm so busy doing this one part in my business that I can't focus on doing this other part, even though I know we need to do it. Make sense to everybody? Question 3 is where you're going to start figuring out a lot of the things that you can help them fill in with your services. Number 4, what are the big things happening in your industry and personal life right now that you can take advantage of to help you get to your goal? And I'm just trying to open their mind to all the things that are happening that could possibly help them. What does this call do? If you'll notice, I'm sandwiching a negative with 2 positives. But what does this do? This is the key. And Denise says, do they ever have a hard time knowing what you want them to say? Like, what are their secret weapons? Yeah, they do. Denise, the more clear that a business is on these things, the more clear I am on whether I want to work with them. But also, as they answer these questions, I have a clear picture of what of my offerings are a fit for them or not. Okay? So not only do they start to understand their strengths, their weaknesses, and all the cool things they've got going for them, they also start to understand where they actually want to go very specifically. Now, maybe they've got this in their head, maybe they can talk it out, but getting it, really saying it out loud, most of these people, do you guys understand most of these people have never said this out loud before? Most of these people that you're going to talk to have never said this out loud before. It's in their head. They've been thinking it, or they've been thinking around this, but they've never actually put it into words and let it escape their mouth. So what do you think it's going to do to you bond-wise when they tell you these things? Remember, we worked up to this with all the other stuff. It's going to help them bond with you. It's going to help you close. But more importantly, it's going to help you only close if you can help them with the stuff you do. Do you think I've ever gone through one of these and gotten done and told the person, listen, this is where I think you need to, this is what I think you need to do. This is what I think you need to do, but I don't think we're a good fit. Do you think I've ever ended a call with that? Absolutely, I have. Absolutely, I have. Strategy sessions are to help someone. If you, every step of the way, you're trying to help someone grow, you're going to close a lot of clients. You're also going to have to tell some people that it's not a good fit, but this is what you think they should do in the meantime. Do you think that everybody I talk to is always a perfect fit? No. And I got to tell the people that aren't a perfect fit that they got to go somewhere else, because if I don't, I've learned this lesson the hard way, because I brought people on, people paid me 10 grand, and they weren't a fit. Can I tell you guys a quick question about when I screwed this up? Because I think that's important. You want to hear a question about me screwing this up? No. Denise says, I thought if you got this far, you knew they were a fit. No, if they got this far, I thought they were a fit. But sometimes you talk and it's not. Here's the thing. One time I took on a client that when I was on the call, I asked these questions, and I was on the call and I was thinking, this person is not going to listen to me. This person could be great, but they're a little too high on themselves to actually be coachable. But this person was so hell-bent on spending money with me, I let them write me a $1,000 check, or $10,000 check. Sorry, it was $10,000 they paid me. I had the red flags. I'd gone through these questions. These questions brought out very quickly that this person thought they already had it figured out, but for some reason thought they needed to hire me. I took their money. I tried to get them to show up for coaching. They didn't. I tried to help them. I tried to give them suggestions. They didn't follow them. 4 months later, this person comes to me, and guess what happens? Do you think they're real happy with the coaching I've given them? Because they haven't grown. They've been doing exactly what they were doing before they took our coaching. Do you think they're happy with my coaching? Who do you think they're blaming? Are they blaming themselves because they wouldn't show up? Or are they blaming themselves because they didn't listen? What do you think happened? They were blaming me. They were blaming me. So it was a couple days before New Year's. I sent them $10,000 back, and I let them know, I appreciate it. It wasn't a good fit. I shouldn't have taken you on in the first place. I wish you all the best. Not fun for me to send $10,000 back to someone, but it saved me a lot of effort in the future. So what criteria do you use if they're a fit or not? Al, it's super simple. If you know the services that you provide help people, can they help this business? If the answer is no, you do not take them on as a client. If you think the services can help the business and you think they're cool, you think they're fun to work with, you think that you can help them with what you've got, you take them on as a client. So those are the 4 questions. Now, once we're done with the 4 questions, this is what's going to happen. This is the close. Oh, let me go back because there's a question about the 4 questions. Caesar says, what are the goals again with question 4? What am I looking for them to hear and say? This is a pivot question. What I'm looking for them to say is either I don't think there's anything that I can see that's a benefit in my industry, or I've got several conferences coming up that I think can help. What I'm looking for with this particular question, Caesar, is are they giving me something that maybe opens them up to another service we can provide or something else that we can do? All of these are really typically just trying to open me up to the things that we do that can help them. It's just getting them talking about all the opportunities, all the weapons, all the possible roadblocks. It's getting them talking about all these things so I know if what we do still fits. You're looking at it as a global. And trust me, until you do this yourself, you won't know because you got to apply it to your personal things. But that's the thing, okay? It's all about whether or not you're a fit and whether or not they're going to listen to you. Trust me when I say listen, how many of you have gotten on the phone with someone and you can tell, or you sat across from someone and you can tell that they weren't going to do what the advice that they asked you for? Did they have to say it? Did they have to say it? Or was it in their tone? Half of this is just seeing how they react to the questions and their tone within answering the questions. I've been on this before, and I've had people, answer all the questions, but you could tell they were not happy about answering them. I didn't take them on. So Denise says, how would you nicely tell them that they're not a fit? I say, listen, you're not a fit right now because of this, this, and this. You get these things knocked out, I think that we may be awesome working together, but these are the things that I think you've got to get knocked out to take your business to the next level. When you get those things knocked out, hit me up. We could possibly do something together. Do you think I've closed sales months down the road by doing that? Be honest. You're telling the truth. You expect them to tell you the truth when you're answering these questions. Be honest. Tell them the truth why they're not a fit. Now, if they are fit, here's the thing. This is the close after the questions. Typically, they're going to say, hey. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, in the past, I've worked with businesses that we'd have to chase for the things we needed to get to work with them. I don't do that anymore. If I can help you get to where you want to go, and you got to mention the specifics of what they talked about back in question 1, and the price is agreeable, are you ready to get started right away? Wait for them to answer. If they answer yes, you tell them this is how it works. If they answer no, you say, well, is there anything I can explain better? If they answer yes, you say, this is my 5-step process. This is what I do when you sign up. This is the timeline that we're looking to get these results. This is my price. Do you have any questions? If the answer is yes, what are the questions? If the answer is no, okay. To get started, go to this URL and put in your info. I'll stay on the line until you get done, just in case you have any questions about the form as you go. Simple. Now, can I tell you a secret? Can I tell you a secret about this? The first time that you transition from the 4 questions to, so in the past, I've worked with businesses that we'd have to chase for things we needed to work with them. When you start getting to this part, your heart rate's going to go up. Trust me. The first time you do this, your heart rate's going to go up. And the reason is because you know in your head this is the close. So they don't know necessarily that this is a close. This is just talking. But this is the part where you get to the hard part. The hard part for you the first few times, or the first time that you use a system that actually has a method behind it, the hard part's going to have to be asking for the sale. You do this 2 or 3 times, it becomes standard. The difference between people that succeed or the people that this is super scary, but here we go. Here we go. At every gig I've ever had where I've had to sell something, doing this the first time was always the hardest. But it becomes easy if you do it. But I'm going to tell you, the first time you go through this is the hard part. Now, my 5-step process, what is my 5-step process? Do you guys remember that way back from part 1 where I showed you my 5-step process? So when I get to here, it's me pretty much going through those things that make me unique. I walk them through the process. I walk them through the timeline of how long it's going to take to do it. I walk them through my price. I ask them if they have questions. And they pay over the phone. So Caesar says, when I've done this in the past, not as good as this, and set up calls, usually folks are really interested on the call, but then the money is their biggest roadblock. Move on, or is this a pre-qualification problem? It's typically a pre-qualification problem. Caesar, when I pre-qualify people well, and I do the messenger stuff and I ask the questions that sort of let me know whether they're doing okay. When I get with clients, Caesar, that are already doing good and I'm just going to help them speed it up versus clients that are dying and are looking for a lifeboat, if you're getting on the phone with the kinds of clients that are already doing well, price is rarely a problem. My bet is that you've taken calls with the wrong people. Yeah, typically, Denise, you're going to know whether they can afford it or not in your Facebook chat. That's the typical. How do you pre-qualify the money part without seeming like you're only about the money? Caesar, remember way back into the Facebook Messenger part where I said, where are you now and where do you want to be? Remember that when I said, before I answer that question, where are things right now where they want to be? What they tell you there will tell you just about everything you need to know. If they're a chiropractor, they're only seeing 5 patients a week, they're doing something wrong. And the more familiar you are with your niche, the more you're going to understand, oh my gosh, you're doing something wrong. Listen, I would have to not be trying in my chiropractic office to see that many patients a week. So that's the key. Are they trying? So are you asking for a deposit or are you asking for the full amount? It just depends on you. It depends on you. So Caesar says, well, my customers are not business people, but pastors and churches. So Caesar, here's the thing. Does the thing that you're selling give them a benefit that is 10 times what you're charging them. If it is, you're good. If your price is at the higher end of the spectrum, how do you work that into the pre-qualification without talking about price or the sticker shock factor? Here's the thing. If you've walked them through what you do and you've walked them through your process, they should understand that. Listen, the reason each and every one of you are having price issues is this. You're not pre-qualifying your clients before you get on the phone with them. Say amen or a yes, number one, if that seems to be familiar to you, if you think that's probably the reason. Yeah, listen. Sorry, Caesar, you said preacher. You guys said preacher. So one of you did, and it got me into amen mode. I'm telling you, how most people fail at this is they don't use the full pre-qualification process. You're wasting your time on the phone with people that can't afford you. Why go through all of those things and get on the phone with somebody if they can't afford you? Listen, it's okay that they can't afford you. There's nothing wrong with that, but have some standards. Can you help people that can't afford you just by what you tell them in the Facebook chat? Yeah, you totally can. You can still help them, but you shouldn't be spending time on the phone with them. Be helpful, but only ascend people through this model that need to be ascended through the model. Does that make sense? The reason you all have had problems in the past is because you're getting the wrong people on the phone. Now, could you still have someone with a price objection? Absolutely. And just let them know, hey, that's fine. I'm not going to chase you. If you have any other questions, feel free to call me back. And move on. Move on. Don't chase people down. Got it? Does this process make sense to you? I'm going to answer some questions as you guys are putting this in here. A site design typically goes between 2K to 5K, but if they need a 20K site based on what they want to accomplish, how do you not shock them? You tell them the truth. You tell them the truth. Don't worry about shocking someone on price. Don't worry about not making the sale. You tell them the truth. Okay? You're the expert. Tell them the truth. If you tell them the truth, then you've done your part. If they're still shocked with the price, that's their problem. It's not yours. You don't try to sell someone with tricks. You don't try to bully someone into buying from you. You don't want sticker shock to turn into buyer's remorse because you bullied them into it. This is about pre-qualifying the right people, getting them on the phone, but then telling people the truth. It's the structure that we use throughout this process that's going to change things for you all, right? It's the structure. Okay. So as you can probably tell, my voice is on its last leg, but I'm totally cool with answering more questions. What else do you guys have before I get out of here? Did you learn something today? How many of you are excited to go put this into action? I hope all of you. This is a game changer. This is a game changer. But you got to do it. You got to go put it into action. Okay? All right, keep me posted. Listen, I just want to close with this. You guys are going to be nervous the first time you go through this. You guys are going to do some stuff wrong. You're going to have questions for me. You purchase something from me. It's not just this course, okay? It's follow-up. You guys run into a roadblock or something doesn't seem to make sense, do me a favor, reach out to us. Reach out to us, okay? We're here to help you get through this. But I want to tell you, the first times that you do this, it's not going to work like a machine. You keep practicing this, you get 5 under your belt, you're going to start rocking this. It's practice, 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 okay? And I hate to be the boring, it's so anti-guru to tell you that you need to practice to get good at something, but I like telling you all the truth. This is the key to the castle for a lot of you, but you got to practice, okay? Okay, so here's the other thing. Closing the call down. This will get cut off of the replay. The advanced call, because my voice is failing, and I knew it was going to from about the time I started this call, the advanced call is going to be canceled. I'm going to send an email out to all of you as to what's going on there. But the advanced call, instead of putting it on the advanced call, I'm going to rest my voice for a few hours. Then I'm going to go in and shoot the advanced call videos for you all. And it's going to show up in your members area tomorrow, just like it would have had we done the advanced call. So if you have any questions on the advanced stuff that we would have been doing live, feel free to fire that my way too, and we'll get that done. Most important thing is go use this. Okay, go use this. This is it. What we're going to have for you all tomorrow is you all, about midday tomorrow, we'll start getting emails with replays. If you're already in the members area, you're going to see this pop up in your members area tomorrow. Okay? How do we point the questions directly to you and not to support? Go through support, because support is going to be with me. Al, what happens is if you try to email me, it gets lost. If you go through our support, it gets to me. And it gets to me in a way that if I don't answer the question right away because I get busy with something, my support team has my cell phone that says, Atkins, answer the damn question. Al's waiting. Okay? So go through support. Trust me when I say support is the team that's fighting for you guys to get your questions answered way quicker than they would be with all the other stuff I've got going on. Because I'm in Nashville this week. I'm at a conference, but we'll get anything that you got answered. Okay, will you send PDFs to us today that go with the advanced in this call? PDFs. What specific PDFs? So script-wise, I will give you like images and I'll give you like the scripts. It'll probably, Denise, be like in a Evernote document. So any of the sample post text that I've got for you will be in an Evernote so that you can just edit it from there. So I'll link you out to all that stuff. And it comes tomorrow, okay? Have you tested this on LinkedIn? Worth trying on the platform. I don't use LinkedIn a lot. It's too businessy for me, and I like getting in there with when people are more relaxed. When you're on LinkedIn, you're trying to do business. People are expecting sales. When you're on Facebook, you're not expecting it, so you can slip it in there. It's real interesting. But listen, I'm sure it works on LinkedIn too. Give it a shot. It's just not where I do it. Yep, doesn't fit my style. Guys, you're great. Thanks for understanding on my voice. Like I said, we'll get through all the stuff for the advanced call in your members area tomorrow, just like we've done it today. Listen, I'm really sorry that I couldn't do the call live, but we'll be there. To access the members area, Gary, if you've never been in the Serial Progress or members area before, you'll get an email tomorrow that has all the instructions you need. It'll get you into the members area. And then from then on, Gary, anything else that you ever buy from us, you just log in, and typically a day after the live call, it just magically appears alongside all the other stuff that you got from us. All right, listen, I had a blast today. I hope you guys had a blast today. Do me a favor. You close somebody with this stuff, send me something. I always get to hear the questions, but typically when people are celebrating, they don't think to reach back out and say, hey, Atkins, this was huge. I typically find out about it 3 years later when I meet somebody at a conference that, oh, they've just been crushing it with the stuff we teach them. So make sure you send us and let us know, because we celebrate the office anytime you guys celebrate. So that's big for us. All right, be good. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to get a little bit of rest from my voice, get a little food, and then I'm going to work on getting everything set up in the members area, the advanced stuff, this stuff, so that you guys have all that. Take care of yourselves. You guys know I love you. Let me know if you have any questions after you put this into action. All right, talk soon.